Good morning, good afternoon. We are live. Happy Wednesday. It's another Wednesday in lovely quarantine, depending upon where you are in the world. Some states, some cities are more open now, and I'm just going to do a quick sound and visual check. We are live on Facebook and YouTube today, so whichever channel kind of suits your fancy to watch. We're live on Facebook. Yep. I can double hear myself. So YouTube is working. And then let's check Facebook here. And as people start to join, let me know where you're tuning in from, location-wise, or what organization you work for. Yep. And I see us on Facebook. Amazing. So happy Wednesday. This is part of a series that I kicked off now 3 weeks ago. The first week, I talked to Safari Pals. They were a nonprofit that worked in the education space, and they completely pivoted because they used to work in classrooms serving children. So they completely changed their fundraising and their programming to serve audiences digitally. And then last week, I spoke with Jenny from Fundraise, and they are an online platform that allows you to do peer-to-peer fundraising. They can allow you to set up virtual fundraising so you can do live streaming and have all your donate buttons and see all your donors come in. And this week, I'm really excited. Can you guys guess who we're talking with? Katelynn is going to join us from New York City, and she works for Movember. And I'm going to bring her on right now. I'm really excited. Movember is a cause near to my heart. I have a family member who actually recently got diagnosed with prostate cancer while I was helping Movember with their campaign last year. So everything really came full circle to the work I was doing, and what they do is so important. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Katelynn on. Hello.
Hi.
Live from New York City.
Yes.
How have you been holding up?
Fine. Just a lot of staying home. You definitely don't move to New York to stay living in your tiny apartment, but
oh yeah, we should note that Katelynn just moved to New York in January.
Yeah, January 1st. It was like 2020, it's going to be my year, and now here we are in stay-at-home orders in New York City. So
I know.
I had a lot of friends who left town, and they're like, should I come back? Is it safe yet? I'm like, safe is up to you, but nothing's open. All you can do is walk around, go to the grocery store, stay in your apartment. So I was like, if you have anywhere with space or trees, stay where you are. Don't come back here yet.
I know. I feel like so many things so I had my birthday in March, supposed to get married. Those things didn't happen. So I got a puppy. Yes. He's literally right behind me right now, so I can't move the chair. So if in any case you see me looking down or poking around, just know there's a dog in this vicinity.
Good.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. Katelynn and I met 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 years ago when she was living in Los Angeles.
Right, when you were in LA.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I moved from New York to Los Angeles, and I knew about Movember. But until we actually started working together, I had no idea the breadth and really history of the organization. So will you share a bit with us about what is Movember? Yes. And how is it really, evolved from where it originated from, and then now being in the United States as well?
Yes. So Movember started in Australia in 2003. A few guys were having drinks and wondered where the mustache had gone. In the 70s and 80s, it was all of our dads had mustaches. Everyone has their picture as a kid with their dad with their mustache. And so they decided to grow mustaches for 30 days, start clean shaven, grow just a mustache, not a beard. And they had 30 guys, and the conversations were just incredible. They were like, we've got to put a cause behind this. We've got to figure out, what's manlier than a mustache. They were really inspired by what women had been doing in the breast cancer movement, and how they did a bunch of research and realized that prostate cancer was the most common cancer in men, and that guys weren't talking about it, and it wasn't getting the same amount of preventative treatment and just conversations that women had really educated themselves on for breast cancer. So they put prostate cancer as our first cause. And then fast forward all these years later, in 2007, we came to the States and grew globally. So now we fund, we're in 20 countries, and we fund research and education programs around prostate cancer, testicular cancer, mental health, and suicide prevention. So we really want guys to live longer, healthier, happier lives, looking after themselves, kind of like mind and body.
And I think literally what you explained about prostate cancer is so true in regards to how we are usually more open about maybe an experience we're going through and sharing it. Mm-hmm. So when I mentioned in the intro, so my dad just got diagnosed with prostate cancer, and until he started talking about it, he realized so many of his friends had gone through the treatment of prostate cancer. Mm-hmm. And until he brought it up, that wasn't just a topic of conversation. And it's made him realize, oh, wow, everybody's gone through a different route. Obviously, everybody's body is different, but hearing from lots of other people and that have successfully been treated helps you mentally to get over kind of the stigma of cancer.
Exactly. I think, yes, men process information different way. They communicate differently. And a lot of times when you hear a cancer diagnosis, anyone would just kind of shut down and do exactly what the doctor tells you. But there's actually a lot of decisions to make in prostate cancer. There's a lot of different treatment options. There's a lot of different paths you can go down. So Movember actually created a platform called Movember True North, which is an online digital tool. So men can access it anywhere, no matter what kind of care you're receiving. And it's a prostate cancer journey tracker. So you can track your symptoms, your partner can be involved. It helps you make treatment decisions, tracks life post prostate cancer, because this really, is a turning point for a lot of people in their lives. So we're really trying to, help men through that journey of prostate cancer.
Yeah, and that's I know when my mom heard, so my dad just, he thinks he has like issues all the time with certain things. So like, oh, this hurts, something must be wrong. And so when he actually got this diagnosis that it was real, my mom was taken aback because she thought, oh, it's just another thing that Ray might think is going on. But so she wanted to do like the research too. So I know my dad's been looking at the program and website. So it's all extremely helpful. So from my family, we love Movember, and I know that's echoed across the country and across the world. Specifically to what's happening right now, I guess we're 2 months in. When it started, what were the conversations happening, and how have you guys pivoted in terms of, okay, now we need to kind of change course on content and messaging, and providing resources, especially people say that the next pandemic of this is going to be a mental health issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So what have you guys been putting out? I've seen some of the content. Can you talk more about kind of the strategy behind that, and how did you get it up so fast?
Definitely. Yes, it was an interesting conversation in March because we're obviously a global organization. So there's a lot of factors. It wasn't just, our Los Angeles office going, okay, things are getting scary here. We're going to start working from home. It was, a bigger global decision that the organization was looking across. So kind of first point of call was, getting everyone home if people were traveling, making sure we were all set up to work from home, kind of looking around and going, is this real? What's happening? How long is this going to last? The same questions that everyone had across the world of, what's going to happen? Is this a new normal? We really didn't want to, say that anything about this was normal. So we figured out pretty quickly that this was going to last for a minute, and that stay at home was going to be particularly challenging for people. It was going to change the mental health landscape for sure. And especially for people that were already struggling, or kind of potentially on the cusp of struggling, or depending on people's living situation. this was going to be a really important time to discuss mental health, which is already one of our core pillars. So we were well equipped to do that. April is actually Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. So we were ready to roll out a whole Testicular Cancer Awareness Month plan like we do every year. We had real stories, we had creative, we had lots of content planned. And we were really excited about that campaign that affects, testicular cancer is the most common cancer in young men. So it's really important to educate men on checking themselves regularly. If something's irregular, to go to the doctor, get it checked out. So once we kind of realized that this was going to last for a little while, we put our testicular cancer campaign on ice. So that will roll out at some point. We have all that content waiting in the wings. But we decided to really quickly, and cheers to our, global leadership team. This was definitely an all hands on deck, huge effort from, our board all the way through, the local teams on the ground. Movember has really looked after the wellness of our employees too, since we have ramped up and had lots of conversations across the globe. There's been, crazy hours and lots of Zoom meetings, and Zoom fatigue is definitely very real. But yeah, it was an amazing, not pivot, because we are already in the mental health space, but it was re-looking at how do we lean into this conversation right now, and how do we make it applicable, with the tools we already have and the things we know that work for men or that don't work for them in talking about mental health, and how do we really encourage everyone to lean into each other. So our big message has just been staying connected, reaching out to each other, checking in on your friends, checking in on your family. For Giving Tuesday now, we did a whole 5-minute check-in challenge.
I love that. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. So just encouraging men, all it takes is 5 minutes a day to pick up the phone, call a friend, have a FaceTime, whatever that is. Just make sure that every day you're stepping away from your computer, unplugging from TV, whatever that looks like for you, and, having a meaningful conversation, especially if one of your friends might be struggling, you haven't talked to them in a while.
There's a lot of job loss right now.
There's a lot of job loss right now. There's a lot of, some people have increased drinking. People aren't getting the usual, expressions out of their whatever they're feeling. We can't go to the gym. We can't meet with a friend at the bar. We can't, go. It would be baseball season right now. We're not those usual outlets that exist to us for even people to connect.
Stress and connecting,
yeah. Guys who aren't used to picking up the phone and chit-chatting with each other, are really we're all being really forced to connect in different ways.
Yeah. And I want to, on the heels of that, I brought in one of their spots, and I'd like to play it for a second for you guys. Awesome spot. So that's a great example of one piece of video content that they've put out, and I think what's great too about your content is you are giving actionable things that people can do. It's not just, hey, go ahead and be connected, but you present real stories, you give tips on how to be connected. And then I know Making Connections, you can talk a little bit about this, is normally a US-based program where people get together in real life in communities across the United States. How has that, I know you guys have a new initiative. Can you talk about how Making Connections and that kind of work in parallel?
Yes. Just backing up to the video really quick, I just wanted to say that that is actually all real guys and their examples of how they're staying connected right now. So we went out to our community through our email database, through our community engagement team, and we've been really actually practicing what we preach and really trying to stay connected with our community more than we usually would in this time frame, and actually checking in and letting people know that we're there and we're a resource for them, and hearing what's working or what's not working for them. So that video is all real Mo Bros telling us how they're actually staying connected. So that's been really fun. And that kind of, we've released a few videos and a few articles on Movember.com kind of highlighting how our community is actually doing this work. So yeah, that's
I'm sure when they get that message from you guys, that also feels so great, right? When they're like, wow, they see me or they want to engage with me. There was an organization I was following and messaging on Instagram, and I got an audio DM. The person said my name. So it's like those small touches that mean so much. They normally do, but especially now when people are kind of a little crazy trying to just figure stuff out, it means a lot to have those small bits of contact.
Yeah, we've talked about, the community engagement piece in Movember, but really making sure that that's year round and answering every Facebook message and every tweet, and really, the people who want to be talking to us and engaging with us, we want to be, talking back with them and being there as a support system for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our mental health work right now. So actually some of the programs that we fund, so Making Connections is our US, it is around early intervention and prevention for mental health. So there's different communities that we work with across the country who do different work in the mental health space. And our Chicago site, for example, is a mentor-mentee program in the city for an at-risk youth population. And so they're figuring out, how do they become digital? How do they keep their mentors and mentees connected even in a digital environment? So they're one really good example of, these in-person interventions. How do they move onto a digital platform? And then we're really excited because we just launched, that was another strategic decision, is that we had a lot of things moving behind the scenes of mental health programs that we were working on. And we kind of put our foot on the gas pedal on a lot of them and said, men need help right now. So let's get these out the door.
Yep.
Learn as we go and get real men testing out these products. So we're thrilled to launch Movember Conversations that launches this week.
Let's pull it up as you're talking about it.
Yes. So this is in the spirit of encouraging conversations. How do we get past the hey dude, how's it going conversation, and knowing how to identify people that might be struggling and pushing to have some of those more meaningful conversations. This is based on the ALEC model. So ask, listen, encourage action, and check in. And this is a conversation guide that men and women can take and kind of learn about the best responses to questions, and how you not let a conversation kind of go, and how you dig deep and be there for your friends and family, and not try and have all the answers and not be in a place of judgment. So this really gives you the experience to see in a few different scenarios some of these conversations that you could have in real life.
I think it's so great because right here, you guys kind of outline exactly some hard topics to sometimes figure out how to respond to, right? Like the job question, what do you really say when somebody, I like this one, I should really check on the kids, right? This is great for dads, right? So you also hit each stage of where a man might be in their life, right? There's their ask one.
Yeah. And this was an opportunity, to your point of like, how did we quickly look at what men were struggling with and actually, built out some of these conversations in a really specific way to look at what men are dealing with right now and how to have the conversations that support each other immediately.
Right. And then it lets you to see. So I just picked one that happened to be the right answer. So what happens, and I haven't gone through all of these. Let me see. Oh yeah. So then it breaks you through the next stage. I see.
Exactly. And it will educate you. Yeah, you pick the next response. And if you pick the wrong response, for example, it will tell you, why that would either stall a conversation or.
There we go. Like there's one.
Yeah, exactly. So, don't be dismissive, pay attention and mirror what they're saying back. So just some of these, things we wouldn't always think about, and even the encouragement to like prompt some of these deeper conversations that it's okay, and in language in which we would usually, talk or text with each other.
Right. So it's actually conversational and not super corporate sounding language that it seems realistic.
Yeah. Or even mental health professional language. Guys aren't talking to each other as mental health experts. This is, day-to-day real advice for how guys can talk to each other. You're not going to say, oh, I'm mirroring your behavior or your language back to you. But, learning that skill is helpful in all sorts of different life situations, actually.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've been in situations where, right, it's somebody tells you about their job or loss of a family member, and those are outside of "I'm so sorry for your loss," right? It's what's the next sentence, and that sometimes can be the hardest thing to come up with, to be able to figure out, do they want to keep talking? Yeah, so just seeing what they need. Oh, hi Jennifer. Hi Judy. See some people coming on here. Yes, Judy, I agree. She says, love hearing how Movember is connecting in small and big ways.
Thanks, Judy.
Absolutely. It's the small comments back in the DMs and the tweets back, and having resources like this that help continue the education and continued help as we all kind of figure this out. So I want to pivot a little bit, because something that a lot of other nonprofits are trying to figure out is digital fundraising, which Movember has done a brilliant job of since the start, really, in that you guys have done peer-to-peer fundraising virtually within your Mo community for years. What, I guess, the success, why do you think there's so much success behind doing peer-to-peer fundraising versus like a traditional gala, which is kind of like the old school fundraising mentality? And I think even you guys used to have more in-person events and have reduced those. So I guess, what was the thought behind doing that and the power behind peer-to-peer fundraising?
I think and that's a great question. And we were one of the first charities that was solely online. I remember our original CEO used to get calls and charities would be like, how are you doing this? How are you using social media? Like, we still have mailing lists and we don't know how to build email databases and things that seem so, day to day to everyone at this point. But I've been at Movember for 8 years, and those were the conversations even just 8 years ago that we were getting a lot of. So yeah, peer-to-peer is really in our brand essence, and what we ask men to do in growing a mustache for 30 days and changing your appearance and asking friends and family for donations. We definitely have corporate partners. We definitely have amazing, organizations that we work with, but the power is in the individual, and it's in, every mustache grown and every conversation started. And we really believe in that. And it's held true for all these years of, guys signing up on Movember.com, getting their fundraising page, asking friends and family for small donations, and the power of how that kind of spreads and lots of Mo Bros coming together and asking their networks for support. And I think, our events have always been community building and encouraging guys to connect with each other. So that's why we had events and why we would bring our community together. It was to, celebrate Movember and celebrate the mustache and get men connecting with each other. So we're figuring out right now, what does that look like to do online? So last night we actually hosted, an online trivia event for our community, which
I love your the lives on Instagram. You guys, this is such a great idea. There's been so many, sorry, I just interjected, but this is like literally what she's kind of talking about is they've been going live on Instagram, and how a lot of people right now are doing interviews or questions. They literally, what I try and talk about all the time is how are you serving and providing value to your audience? And what a lot of people want right now is humor, entertainment. They just need to laugh about something. And so they have a Mobro going on there and literally doing trivia and doing higher, lower and a card deck and getting people to jump on from, I was watching for like 20 minutes one day, and it was people from all over the world. And they're coming in and they're just so excited to get on there and say higher, lower. It's like, it doesn't have to be complicated. It literally can be the simplest fun game that people appreciate. So anyways, that's just an example of kind of what she's talking about.
Yeah. And that's something that's really important to us at Movember is the mix of the fun and the serious. So we're not just a mental health organization that needs to put out, explanatory information and always be about, the deep conversations. Like, what do men need? How are they connecting? Trivia is good for all of us. It's really nice to disconnect for a little while and just have fun and think about other things. So, we always try and think about how we're serving men in both of those ways, the fun and the meaningful and serious. So, yes, we're thinking about how do we bring those things online. I've actually been talking about you a lot internally. I was just on a call with my global team this morning, and I was like, so I'm talking to Dana later, and she's really an expert on lives, and we need to be thinking about how we do more of this. And right now we're not doing a huge fundraising push. So our Australian team actually just did a digital festival called May 8, which is Mate, which is a day to check in with friends. So they, turned all their content digital. So it was like from yoga in the morning through to DJ sets and comedians at night. And in the fall, we were kind of brainstorming of, okay, what does a global day look like where we use our Facebook donate button and we do, really encourage that live donation mechanic. Facebook has made it so easy, as you know, and are a big advocate of the Facebook platform. It couldn't be easier we've seen a lot of success with people starting Facebook fundraisers for Movember, using the donate buttons.
They were actually, to that point too, Movember was one of, I think you were actually the organization that made Facebook integrate with your, so they use a platform, their own built proprietary platform to manage all of your fundraising. You guys built your own, and it actually integrates with your advocacy pages. Same thing, which last week Fundraise was talking about. Dressember similarly is an organization that now, because of kind of what Movember started, Facebook now has Facebook fundraisers integrate with advocacy pages, which helps you guys so much because now you get the donor information to be able to hopefully continue the message of Movember to all those people who donate to Facebook pages. So
exactly. Yeah, we were one of the beta testing partners on Facebook. So we launched that with them years ago and have helped them kind of work out the kinks and stuff behind the scenes. So yeah, it's been amazing to work with Facebook on the rollout of each of their fundraising products.
Yeah, that's incredible.
How that platform has, been able to make it really seamless on the donor. You don't even have to leave the Facebook app to give a donation, which I think is kind of the power of peer-to-peer and, the amazing way that technology has integrated to make giving, an easier part of our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I ran a virtual 5K 2 weekends ago now, and I went live on Facebook. And Cheryl, if she's watching, was amazing, and she donated. She helps run PR for US. And I just went live while I was doing my warm-up walk for about 5 minutes, and I raised $150 in 5 minutes. So that's the power because it's your community. They see me actively fundraising. I was able to talk about it. I was able to literally say, click right here and donate right now, right? Like that's, and people, and I think peer-to-peer too, the magic is within the Movember community, people relate to and are passionate about the person.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
More than an organization. Yes, they love the brand of Movember and what it's doing, but they really support their buddy.
Yep.
Right.
And if I believe in you and you believe in this organization, like you're championing Movember and you're putting, your personal face, 5K, whatever it is, behind this organization, well, I believe you. So I'm definitely going to support you with a $25 donation.
100%.
So that you can support this organization.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Absolutely. So I know you guys are in, I'm sure, crazy prep mode and trying to figure out what to do. Not only is it an election year, but now we have COVID with Movember happening in November. So there's lots going on. How can people get involved right now? How can they help support Movember? What would be like, I don't know, 2 or 3 things that somebody could do right now?
Yes. Right now, go to Movember.com. Movember Conversations is on the homepage. Test it out, try it out, have a 5-minute conversation with someone today. And I would say follow us on social media. Go to We're Movember USA on Facebook. We're at Movember on Instagram, and just stay connected with us. We're delivering a lot of hopefully really helpful and relevant content right now. And as we get closer to the fall, we will ask everyone to sign up on Movember.com and join us. And there's actually a lot of ways to participate in Movember. And we ask guys to grow mustaches. We can also move and make a physical fitness commitment to Movember. And so people can support whatever your physical fitness challenge is. We start with just moving 60 miles in the month of Movember, which is representative of, unfortunately, the 60 men who take their lives every hour around the world, to really bring it back to that, suicide prevention mission and what we're trying, where your dollars go. And then you can also host events. So we will see what that looks like in the fall, but we are testing out all sorts of virtual things that people can do right now. So men and women can support, you can fundraise, you can participate. So we would love everyone's support in the fall.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Please ping me to brainstorm for Movember in the campaign. That live sounds awesome. And Movember, the one thing is working with you guys, there's such a passionate audience that has been cultivated behind Movember, men and women, and corporate partners and celebrities. And I think what just radiates from the organization, kind of like what you said about everybody takes care of each other. And that's externally and internally. So from somebody who's worked with you guys, their team is incredible. They are fun, knowledgeable. They want to have your back and help you out however they can. So Movember is amazing. So thank you, Katelynn, so much for joining us. Please stay healthy in New York City. And as somebody who's been a previous New Yorker, I know we all hope the city gets back to the normal buzz. And
yeah, I feel like I've become a New Yorker pretty quick. It's been definitely a moment to all come together as a city, which I'm a new member of. So definitely an interesting spirit out there in the world right now. And I can hope we can all kind of collectively hang on to this, community spirit that's going on.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Katelynn.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, how amazing is Katelynn and Movember? As she mentioned, head to Movember.com and follow them on all their social channels to see what's going on and the amazing content they're putting out there. I will also put a link to the Conversations initiative that she mentioned so that you guys can go through exactly what we are showcasing here on the screen. And next week, I'm planning to have Lisa Bechtold. She was actually my very first boss straight out of college. She helps run Take Stock in Children of Sarasota County, the nonprofit I worked for when I first graduated. So I'm really excited to have her come on board and share what she's seeing in Florida, in Sarasota in particular. She works in the school system with the organization, so that'll be really interesting to hear what's going on for the fall. And just continue to check in. If you want to come on here and be interviewed, please let me know. Drop a note in the comments, or you can find me on Positive Equation on any social channels and positiveequation.com. And I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Wednesday and week. See you guys later.